the MegaMass Isolinear Row Pro. So I'm going to give you an initial reaction of the MegaMass Isolinear Row. So another recent piece I got, the MegaMass Isolinear Row Pro. I had his original fused bilateral row. So here's a flashback to the first generation MegaMass linear row. Little clip I had on Instagram a while ago. So I sold this, just didn't have room for it. I wish, I kind of miss it. The cool thing with this is the back pad. I love the back pad because it's short and it's very, very comfortable to lock your feet in. The other nice thing with this is it's like adjustable to 10 different angles. So the new one, as I'll show you, the angle is not adjustable, just the position up and down is adjustable, but the angle is adjustable on this one. And I loved how you could adjust the handles in and out on this original one. You could just bring the handles right next to your side and make it upper back or lats, depending on the width of the handle. Stay tuned to the end because I'm going to take you through the process, give you mind of how I'm going to modify this as well. All right, so very aesthetic piece. Again, as I mentioned in the Explode row that I reviewed recently, I love the color combo. I always love this color. The nice thing I like about it is it's got two heavy-duty guide rods on each side, so very, very heavy duty. He's got nice reverse bands. I think he took my advice from the first linear row he came out with. So the idea is this follows along guide rails, and there's a divergence profile as it comes up. So this machine is designed to use as a chest-supported row and as a standing or slightly upright linear row. Now, one of the things I like best about this is the amount of adjustments there are. There are like 12 or 13 different adjustments with the seat this way, as well as with the chest pad this way. What that's going to allow you to do is pull from multiple different positions. And what that's going to allow me to do actually is this is going to be the chance to modify this machine to make it amazing. What's up, beautiful people? Hope you're having an amazing day where you are. I'm going to give you my review. Stay tuned to the end. I'm going to show you a cool before and after that even surprised me. So there's a lot of companies making these types of machines, bent over, chest supported, upright rows. More or less you're doing an upright or bent over a prone row on a linear rail system. So this is the only one I believe that's actually unilateral. So obviously the idea of a unilateral is it's going to give you a little bit better stretch and a little bit better contraction as the shoulder blades, the scapula wrap around the torso and the rib cage during stretch and contraction. This is theoretical, obviously. So that's more or less the main reason I got this for the unilateral function. So playing around with it, the most comfortable position to me is grabbing those semi-pronated handles as close as possible and putting the chest support as far down as possible without the weights touching, so there's at least a little bit of a stretch. But again, this is probably my fourth or fifth time using it. I'm probably jaded because I have so many different options at my gym and I modify everything to make it fit me or to make it quote unquote optimal in my opinion. So immediately I notice, when you're doing a 15 to 20 rep max, it actually feels pretty decent with this grip right here. When the weight's any higher, it's just way too much bicep. So maybe if you asked me 3 or 4 years ago what I thought about it, I wouldn't say the same, but I guess I'm just jaded because I've had the opportunity to manipulate strength curves and do lots of different things. So it's just, unless you use reverse bands, it's just way too heavy if you're doing a 6 to 8 rep max. The other thing is this right here, this movement right here is the best movement with the original machine, a chest supported row with a semi-pronated handle. And I find just because of the convergence profile, very hard and very uncomfortable to do one arm at a time. See, I'm trying to get a good position one arm at a time. Just did not feel comfortable. You can see for me, again, depending on your arm length, the divergence is just too much. So the other cool movement you can do with this, instead of bent over at 45 degrees, you're bent over at about 60 to 70 degrees, and you're doing it sort of a pseudo upright row, a pseudo in between totally standing in an upright row. I actually found that's right here, this movement right here. I'm going to show you after I modify how cool this movement is, but this movement actually felt better than just the unsupported 45 degree bent over row. But this actually is a cool movement. Mimics an old Cybex machine. This is the actual machine I'm talking about. This is the Cybex modular lat row. Have you guys seen it before? This cool gym in New Jersey has it. This is what the movement I'm showing you mimics. It gives you the same movement. But again, the divergence convergence is just definitely off. So love the idea. The footprint is not horrible. It's not phenomenal, but it's not horrible. It's not as bad as the fused version. It's a little more narrow. But again, you're dealing with a linear path. So what tends to happen is the closer you get to contraction, the weaker you are, the more your biceps are going to take over, the less your back is. There's going to be disproportionate amount of weight you can lift to the mid-range that your strength won't allow you to get full contraction or stretch. So that's the only downside of this. I love the idea. The other major downside, I talked about this in the row machine too. Our handles are way too far apart. So by the time you get to your chest, even with this all the way down, again, it'll depend on how long your arms are. It's way too divergent, way too much. So it makes doing a unilateral almost impossible unless you're standing outside the machine. So I'll probably give the machine itself a 5 or 6 out of 10. Honestly, the fused version is much better if you're doing a traditional upright linear row. This is a much better chest supported row than it is a linear row. The reason is these things just diverge way too much. And like I said, almost everyone you see using this with a decent amount of weight, like 6 to 8 rep max, you're going to have to use momentum. You're going to have to use some body English to actually get that weight to that top third range of motion, because you're much stronger in that middle third than you are that top and bottom third. So that's why the reverse bands will help. All right, guys, 15 days later. It's 15 days later. I'm going to show you, that was the before, and now let me show you the after. So it may be hard to see from this angle, but you can see where I've added the second horn behind and below. I put it as low as I could without 45s hitting. That's going to help me a little bit with the strength curve, as I'll show you. The other thing I'm going to show you here is you'll see there's 8 different handle options now instead of 2. You can kind of see from the side. Again, very specific 3-dimensional handles at very specific angles. And you can see how I've brought these handles in several inches. So check this out. This is such a cool machine now. I wish I have to have one of my kids film again or something. Every time I do this, I wanted to show you the process, but I don't have a second person to film. So there's a high semi-supinated, a high semi-pronated. Notice how the semi-pronated handles are angled slightly out. They're specifically angled a specific way. These handles hit perfectly, and the really close high handles, semi-pronated, hit phenomenally well. And when you do one arm at a time, it lines you up absolutely perfectly. So this is the original handle, way better since it starts in closer. It's absolutely perfect divergence to hit lats and upper back, because watch where the weight ends in relation to my side. It's not way out to the side. It's as close to my body as possible. These are the original handles. Now it absolutely feels phenomenal. So this second horn, because I put it significantly behind and as low as possible, I want it to be as perpendicular as possible at any range of contraction to the pivot point of the movement arm. So I get about 15%, 20% max drop off of the weight because of that second horn. It's not significant, but it's a little bit. And when I add the reverse bands, it's even better. So this is the best way to use this. So because this pad's an awkward angle, I use a reverse ab mat because of look at how the angle that ab mat sets me up perfectly for standing upright row. Much better back support. The problem with using that pad as a back support is it doesn't arc. This just lines up with your back better. So these handles all hit absolutely phenomenally well. And again, with reverse bands, they feel absolutely phenomenal. So you can see a little bit from this angle how I'm getting a little bit of a drop off at end contraction with that second horn. Not a ton, but a little bit. It's worth it to me. In an ideal world, I would be able to put it perpendicular to the pivot point at any range of contraction, but it's just not possible because the weight would hit the ground. So you can see the cool thing is you can adjust the position of the pad, and it will line you up with whatever handle you're grabbing. So these two lower semi-supinated handle, one slightly more semi-supinated and angled than the other, hit absolutely phenomenally well. It's all freaking lats. And again, it just depends on the height that you have that butt pad at. The further down, you can line up with the lower handles. Hits absolutely phenomenally well. The cool thing, though, is just because the way these handles are, it's all lats. So I brought the handles in as far as I could to allow me to do both movements without hitting my legs. So I love this movement here. I'm showing you, this is the 65 to 70 degree standing upright. Instead of 45 degrees, 65 to 70 degrees standing upright row. Again, mimicking that old Cybex machine I showed you a clip of earlier. This just hits phenomenally well. Now I'm going to show you my favorite way to do this is with the free floating D handles. When you use the reverse bands with the free floating D handles, it lines you up absolutely perfectly. But yeah, I mean, honestly, these handles all hit perfectly where they're at. I mean, and the beauty is I can use, they line me up perfectly one arm at a time because they're closer to the body. I'm not like having to grab way outside of my body. It's just noticing where the weight ends and begins. So this right here with these raw motive work handles and these 65 to 70 degree upright hits absolutely phenomenally well, especially with the reverse bands. This is my favorite way to do the unsupported row as opposed to 45 degrees with the back pad. 65 to 70 degrees with this thing feels phenomenal. So to review, in its original state, it's a 5.5 out of 10. The best way, honestly, the only way that's ideal to use it in its original state is as a chest supported row with the semi-pronated handles, with the chest support as far down as you can get with still getting some stretch with reverse bands. Now the machine is a 9 out of 10. Great machine. It functions best, in my opinion, as a chest supported row. The upright linear row works well, but honestly, the more erect 60 degree upright, no back support row with the free floating D handles is my second favorite movement on that machine, particularly with the reverse. And honestly, again, the best feature of this machine, other than how much the chest pad and the back pad move up and down, I mean, to allow you multiple different positions to pull from, is the reverse band pegs. In my opinion, maybe I'm jaded because I optimize everything here, but I cannot use this machine without reverse bands. Like if you try to do a 6 to 8 rep max, your biceps are absolutely going to take over from your back. You're going to get, if you want to do that, if you just want to row heavy weight, use momentum. But if you want to truly use your back and not overload your biceps, you absolutely have to use reverse bands on this machine. In its original form, to me, it's way too awkward, almost impossible to use as an upright linear row. It just diverges too much too quickly, and you're too far apart. It's like where you're in between lats and rear delts and upper back. It's like if it was wider, it'd be all upper back. If it was narrower, it'd be lats. But it's like in between, so it's just kind of like awkward. So honestly, it was a machine in its original state I was absolutely not going to keep. I just don't have room for stuff that either I don't like or that it's not optimal. I just don't have room for it. Like there's too many other things I want to do, machines I want to create, but now I'm absolutely keeping it with the modifications I've made. So let me know what you guys think. What is your opinion of this machine? Like, comment, subscribe below. Have an amazing day.